right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Xplor Education's OSH Week, a special week dedicated to the OSH community. My name is Mufara Moringa, and I am the Community and Engagement Lead here at Xplor Education. I hope that music got you guys pumping, got you ready for the session that's to come. I am happy to be here to be introducing this next session. But before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respects to the traditional custodians of the lands of which we all meet today. I'm honored to be presenting to you from the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And as always, we'd love to know where you are all dialing in from. So feel free to jump on the chat, say good morning. I could see Lauren and Carmel there hyping up my music choices. I hope you're feeling all hyped up as well. But yeah, say good morning. Let us know where you're from. We'd love to know where you all are located. And as always, we've curated a large range of sessions. This is the 3rd session in our program this week. So if you've joined us yesterday, thank you so much for coming back again today. Feel free to scan the QR code to check out what we have in store for you for the rest of the week and register to any of those sessions. It's definitely not too late. Without further ado, I'm more than happy than excited. I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. I'm more than happy than excited. Yep, that's it. To introduce our presenter today, Tash Vyman, who is a training specialist here at Xplor Education. Tash will be taking us through a journey of bookings and occupancy in Xplor Office. Tash, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I'd like to say that I took your breath away in that moment.
Absolutely, Tash, and thank you so much for agreeing to host this session for our OSH community. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to throw it over to you to do your thing, and thank you so much, Tash.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And as Mafari said, thank you everyone so much for joining us today for our OSH Week. As Mafari said, my name is Tash. I work as part of the training team here at Xplor Education, and today's session is all about bookings and occupancy for yourselves in OSH. Throughout today's session, how can you interact with us? We want you to be interacting, so please, we're going to be running some polls. Jump in, answer. We'll give you some multiple choice ones. We'll give you some ones where you can free text and write into us. We'd love you to be jumping into chat. Give us some feedback. If you're loving some things, amazing. Let us know. If you need some follow-ups or if we haven't covered anything in enough detail, let us know. And then finally, if you have any specific questions, pop them into the Q&A box. If you don't know where that is, in your Teams, it's right next to the chat, so it should be Q&A, this one right here. That way we can segment between commentary and chatter in the chat box, and your actual questions, will make sure that we answer them at the end live. Mafaro is going to be monitoring the chat while I present today, so jump in there, interact with us. We would love it. All right, let me take you through today's agenda. So this session will help you make the most out of Office's releases to automate part of your casual booking process this vacation care period, as vacation care is fastly approaching, but you'll be able to embed any of the information that you've learnt today into your regular term bookings as well. During this session, we're going to be speaking to instant mobile bookings. So as part of instant mobile bookings, we're going to be talking about your app settings. We're going to be going through booking rules. We're going to talk about room settings. And then at the end, we're going to take a look from a parent perspective and jump into the home app. Some quick facts for you. On average, an OSH or OSH service had reported that they were getting near 200 casual booking requests per month, and that's just the average. If we're looking at larger, OSHs, you're probably getting a lot more. Now, without instant mobile bookings being turned on, the amount of time that it would take for an administrator to actually action a booking request in their Office system is 30 seconds. So if you're times 30 seconds by 200 a month, we're trying to save you maximum time with this amazing feature. So what is instant mobile bookings? When you enable this feature, instant mobile bookings will enable families to book directly into a session that meets their child's requirements. So in the background, as an administrator, you're going to set up the booking rules around what age a child needs to be, what time the session is, and what fee will be charged. You're also going to input your occupancy. So how much space do we actually have to facilitate these additional bookings? And this is going to pull directly from what you've put into your room settings, but it's going to feed into master role. So it's going to look at your permanent bookings, and then whatever you've got left is what parents are able to book in for a casual session instantly. The first thing we need to look at is toggling this feature on in app settings. So down the bottom here, it lets you know where to go, and we're going to jump over live into Office, and I'm going to show you where app settings sit. But by toggling on instant mobile bookings feature, it's going to enable families access to sessions that you have available on the home app. So it's not going to require you as an administrator to go up to your notification bell and be actioning these casual booking requests if you have space to facilitate these bookings. But let's jump over to Office and show you where this feature lies. So within your Office system, we're going to navigate on your menu down to Settings, Service Settings, and then we're going to select App Settings here. Now we need to scroll down to the Office section in here. Sorry, Home section. And then it's the first one here, Instant Mobile Bookings. Now, if you have toggled this feature on, then it's going to look like this. So the orange toggle will be toggled on. But if you have this feature toggled off, it's going to look like this one here. So to input instant mobile bookings into your service, we need it on. Make sure if you do make any changes that you're hitting save at the bottom of this screen, otherwise nothing is going to embed into your system. So hit save on there. That's the first thing we need to do. We want to be automating our bookings as much as possible. Next, we need to take a look at our room settings. So room settings in Office allows administrators to make changes to how the room is configured. This will include ratio, session times, so open and close times. You can attach fees in your rooms, but for this particular feature and looking at instant mobile bookings, we're going to speak to capacity management. So again, coming over into our system, we're coming into settings, and this time room settings. And all of our rooms are going to be in here. Let me jump over to our OSH provider. So it might look a little something like this. You might have a before school care, after school care, and vacation care room set up. If you are new to the system and you have everyone in one room and you are wanting to segment, just press on the add new up the top right here, and you'll be able to add a new room. Otherwise, when we come into our room, I'm going to use vacation care as the example. It's going to be configured based on how we've created that room. So we've got our name, we've got our room type. I've put my operational hours, so 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. That meets my licensing. These hours also feed across to playground. So the room will be highlighted as green, and educators will be able to go in, sign children in and out, and be logging health events if you use Playground app. So keep that in mind as well. You can pop in your ratio over here. So in this instance, I've put in 1 to 11. And then what is our age range? So for this particular room, we can facilitate care for children aged 5 through to 12 years, 11 months. You can at any stage come through and update this. If you do, again, please hit save to make sure that it embeds into your system. Directly underneath, you'll see an outline of the fees attached to this room. So if you've set your fees up and you've nominated which room that they need to be attached to, you'll see them itemized underneath here. You can add additional fees in here if you'd like to. So if you've made a change, go in, add the fee in here. It just makes it really easy when you're working with bookings to quickly find which fee would attach to what room. But what we're going to look at particularly today is our booking rules and our capacity management. So the first thing is booking rules. And this is particularly for our vacation care room. It's set on a room by room basis, so keep that in mind. If we are turning on instant mobile bookings, how are we making sure that our roster aligns with the children that we have booked into sessions? And that's a question we get quite often. The answer is that you will actually nominate a cut-off period. So parents will or families will only be able to book casual sessions for their children prior to this cut-off period. This means that your roster stays compliant, that you're not having an exuberant amount of children coming in and casually booking the night before when you don't necessarily have enough team members to cover this. So in your cutoff period, we can nominate to have this as hours, days, weeks, or months prior. For this instance, I'm going to select hours, and I might nominate that they need to give us 12 hours notice. Once I'm ready, I'm going to hit Save Changes. And that's going to embed for this particular room now. So any family that is wanting to book a session instantly, they'll need to make sure that they're doing that 12 hours prior to the session starting. They can still request a casual day, but it will come through to your notification bell, and it would be at your discretion if you could facilitate that session. Excellent. So once we've put that into the system, we're then coming down to our capacity management. Now, when we're speaking to vacation care, you're obviously not going to be facilitating vacation care during term time, so your capacity is going to be at 0. And you might actually set this to be 0 for the entire year, and you might only come in and change your capacity management maybe 2 weeks out from vacation care starting. If that's the case, you can do that in bulk by select date range, put in your vacation care dates. So for this upcoming vacation care, we're going to go from the 2nd of April. And then we're going to run that through for the 2 weeks. So we'll run that through until Sunday. For my vacation care, I can only take 50 children. For yours, it's whatever your capacity will be. And then I can save those changes. It's going to let me know that by default, I had set this to 100, so I'm altering that default. I'm happy to do that. I've overridden that now, and that's saved in the system. So when I move forward to April, I can now see that my custom capacity for that date range has been updated. Now, again, if you are using select date range, it is going to include Saturday and Sunday in that. You can just come through and update those like so to be 0 if you do have that worry that families might try and book in. You can see that I've also left the capacity for the 1st of April as 0, being a public holiday. So we're not going to be taking any children for that day. So that's all been updated. That's for this current vacation care period. Anything into the future, I might leave that as 0. And again, I might only change this capacity 2 weeks out. From here, I'm going to hit Save Changes to make sure that that cements onto my system. It's going to make sure that I am 100% happy with those changes. So yes, I am. And now that's embedded onto this room. So again, you're creating this on a room by room basis. So what you do for before school care is going to look different to after school care and vacation care. They're all standalone. If you made a mistake at all, or you need to revert back to the default capacity, you can just hit the button here and it will undo any future dates, but nothing historically. And then up the top here, this is your default capacity. So what is your license spacing? You might put that as your default capacity at the top here. Or for vacation care, you might actually set this to 0 and you might do your date range and customize. Completely at your discretion in what's going to work best for you. But 2 very important features to make sure that you are creating in order for your instant mobile bookings to be seamless. So capacity management and booking rules. Again, if you have any questions on this, please make sure you're using that Q&A box. We can get to them at the end and answer live. Otherwise, Mafara is going to jump in and answer them as we're going through the session. All right. So now we've gone through our room settings. We've also toggled on our app settings. The final piece of the puzzle is our booking rules. Booking rules allow services to configure a set of rules that will be used to determine both casual sign-in based bookings, such as those through the hub, and mobile bookings. We've listed some considerations in here. So services will be required to set a sign-in time. They should also consider if they would like to have a buffer period, so a certain amount of time that children can be signed in prior to that session start time. Age ranges as a consideration, they will play a huge factor, and we will speak more to those when we're live in the system, but age down to the month is going to be really important. So consider, do we need to set this up for particular age ranges? For example, can I take anyone who is 5 years to 9 years? I can take a certain amount of those children, and then anyone who is 10 through to 12, I can take a certain amount of those children, because I know I've got educators who do split care throughout the session, and they can facilitate. So have a think about that. What factors do you need to be weighing in on when you're creating your booking rules? There's a few other considerations in there. So, for example, your fee will be a consideration. Which fee are we going to attach? Because this is the one that will instantly attach to that session. And are we going to create booking rules for the full week, or do we need to create a different rule for each day? And that could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So have a think about what's going to work best for you. Once ready, we're going to jump over into our system and we're going to create these booking rules. Again, coming into your service settings, and then we're coming to the booking rules tab, which is this one here. Now it gives you a little bit of an insight into your booking rules engine here, how it works, what we need to be doing in here, but it's exactly as I've just explained to you. We're configuring a set of rules which are going to enable families to casually book their children in instantly if they meet the requirements of that rule that we're establishing. So your first consideration, do we need to have a buffer period for sign in? So if we're offering 9, 10 and 12-hour sessions over vacation care, are we having families sign in to those session times, or are we going to enable them to come in a little bit earlier? Are we not bothered about what time they sign in? Are we more concerned about obviously that they're meeting that 9, 10 and 12-hour session requirement? So if that's the case, I might put a buffer. The maximum is 1 hour, 30 minutes, so 90 minutes. But for a session that starts at, say, 7:30, that enables your families to be able to sign their children in at 6 a.m. So if they drop off right at 6 a.m., but again, they're only staying for that 9-hour session, so they're going home by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, they're still meeting their requirements for their CCS and for their session. They're just able to be flexible with the drop-off time. If we do make any updates, just make sure you hit update here to embed into your system. And then we're going to create our booking rules. So this is what your booking rule area will look like. In here, we're going to put the sign-in time. So this can be right down to the minute. So maybe for this session, I'm looking at a 6:30 a.m. sign-in time. Sign-out time will be the end of the session. It doesn't really matter around sign-out time. Obviously, we're more concerned about when the children are able to be signed in. Sign-out can be any time throughout their session. So just put it till the end of whatever session it is that you're facilitating for this child. I might put a 6:30 p.m. sign-out time, and we're looking at a 12-hour window. Age range. So age in years and months, what is the youngest child that we can take for this booking rule that we're establishing? So if I have 5-year-olds in my service and I can facilitate care for a 5-year-old, 5 years, 0 months. If I put in here 5 years, 6 months, however, any child that is younger than 5 years, 6 months, they're not going to be able to use our instant mobile bookings feature. So again, when I mentioned age is really important, this is what I mean. We're quite strict on it. So if we're wanting to facilitate for all 5-year-olds, it's 5 years, 0 months. Our age 2, so if our eldest child is 12, maybe they're 12 years 11 months. Maybe we can take them right up until they're 13. Then I'll project out age 2 as 12 years, 11 months. So I'm taking from 5 to 12 years, 11 months. What room am I making this booking rule for? So for this example, I'm putting this as my vacation care room. So I'm selecting vacation care, but all of your active rooms will be listed in here, and you'll be able to configure your booking rules for each of those. And you can have multiple rules in your system for multiple rooms. So if you, again, as I mentioned, have, 5 to 8-year-olds, you might make a rule for 5 to 8-year-olds, and then you might make a separate rule for 9 to 12-year-olds. Reasons that you might do this is your availability or occupancy for those age groups might be different. The fee might be different for those children. There's a lot of factors in there. So keep that in mind and have a think about it before you're creating your booking rules. All right, we're coming over and we're now attaching the fee. So when this instant mobile booking for a casual booking is instigated, this is the fee that's going to attach to it. Now, because I've selected vacation care and I've actually attached my fees to the vacation care room, my view is segmented to just view my vacation care fees. So it makes it really easy to pick that particular fee that I require for that room. If, however, your fee isn't attached to the room or it's not listed in here, you need something different, press on view more and it will give you all of your centre fees that are currently active. So none of your archived, just your active fees. It will be listed in alphabetical order of fee. So you'll be able to scroll through and select which fee it is that you need to attach. This one, I'm going to select the vacation care 6:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. excursion fee because we intend on doing excursions for the entire duration of vacation care this coming up period. And I want to select the days of the week in which this rule applies. As I mentioned, we're going to be conducting excursions this full vacation care period, so I'm going to leave it Monday through Friday. But you could create a rule that might just be for Wednesdays if you only do excursions on a Wednesday, or if you have a different fee just on Monday, Tuesday, maybe you've got a shorter session, you charge a little bit less. You can configure your rule for just Monday, Tuesday, and then configure a separate rule for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with a different fee. So again, this is very open to how you need to use it, very customizable to each service. Once I'm ready, I'm going to press on this orange create rule, and I'm going to see this beautiful green tick that says that I have been successful in creating this. So now when I scroll down and I view my existing booking rules, I'm going to see that one listed in there alongside the other ones that I had already configured and created in my system. It's going to give me a summary, so sign in time from and to, so when can these children sign in? This is the range in which I've provided. What age does this rule apply to? So here's our age range from and to. What days of the week does this apply to? So for this one here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But again, if you've created fees for particular days, absolutely okay. What room is it linked to? Which fee have we linked? What other session hours? Is it active? And you can reorder these as well. So if you would like a particular booking rule to be top priority, move it up. So it'll move up to the top. If you'd like one to be at the bottom, so you want it as kind of your absolute last resort backup, move it down. Completely up to you. Now, children will, when families log on to the Home app, the way that they're going to see these booking rules or sessions that you have available is based on 2 factors. That their child meets the requirements, so age requirements. If there are 2 booking rules for vacation care and their child meets both the age ranges in both of those rules, they will only see the top option. So when you're ordering these, why is it important to have them in a particular order? The top option, if a child overlaps with 2 different rules, is the one that they're going to see and the one that you're going to provide them the option to book into. So just keep that in mind as well. But potentially you may only be setting booking rules in your system for one for vacation care, one for before school care, one for after school care, and children can see all of those if they meet the age requirements. I appreciate that one was a lot of information. If you do need any additional information, if there's anything that I've missed, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, pop in the Q&A, particularly what we've missed, and we can go back over it at the end. All right. And now we've gone through the heavy topic of booking rules. Once you've created those in your system, they are a set and forget unless anything changes. So once your booking rules are in there, that's it. It's done. They will always align with that booking rule. If you do a fee increase throughout the year, either at the beginning of the year or midway through the year, as long as you're applying that to the fee that is attached to those booking rules, it will automatically update. So there's no need to end the booking rule and then attach a new fee. If you're using that same fee and you've put the increase on that one, it's all automated. Only things that you'll need to go back in and consider are your capacity management. So making sure that you're putting in your actual capacity for that room and the date range in which that meets. Now we get to look at the fun side. So home app bookings, what does this look like from a parent perspective? How are they going to use all of this incredible work that you've done? The home app mobile bookings feature will only display sessions to families as defined in the booking rules. If no rules are defined and instant mobile bookings is toggled off, families will be able to request a space. So exactly what they might be doing now in your centre. They're requesting that casual booking space and it's coming to you in your office system under the notification bell. Otherwise, let's jump into home app. So this is the home app for families. Now they need to be a parent or guardian on the child's account in order to have access to home. Obviously, they need to also action their invite, download the app and sign in. But any parent or guardian will be able to access the booking section. When we're in the bookings tab, which is this one here, they'll have a look and they'll see a calendar that looks really similar to this with a monthly view. Anything with an orange dot indicates that they currently have a session booked at the service. And when they press on that, they'll be able to view what that session is. So this one here, if they want a bit more information, they can actually press on it and it'll let them know what their booking is. But I can see that I don't have any bookings on the Wednesday and I actually need my child booked in. So as a parent or guardian, I'm going to press on the date in which I need that additional casual day. I'm going to come up to the top right and select on plus new. Now my screen is very bright, but the two options that you'll see here is they have an option for bookings or they can mark their child as absent or on a holiday. So for this one, we're wanting a casual booking, I'm pressing on bookings. Now, if I have children who attend multiple services, they will be listed as you can see here. So based on the picture that the centre has uploaded, the profile photo for my child, I'll be able to see their profile photo. I'll see their full name and I'll see their service name directly underneath. So as a parent to children at multiple services, I need to make sure that I'm selecting the correct profile. And I'm wanting to make a booking at the OSH service. So I've selected my child at OSH. Now, based on the date that I've selected, being the 20th, here are the sessions available to me. And this is based on the booking rules that have been created in the office system. So I can see that there is an after school care session, and here's the session time. I can see that they do have a vacation care room. However, it lets me know that there is no space available for this date. And instead, if I select this session, it's going to send a notification through to the administrators on Office requesting a space in that room. I can see there's a before school care session. And again, I can book instantly into that. There is capacity. I can also see here's my other vacation care consideration or booking rule in the system here. Again, all of my vacation care, as you remember, I set them to 0 capacity, so we have no space available, and it lets the family know there is no space here. Alternately, if I don't see a session that suits me or a session that I require, I can still request a space, but in this instance, I do want an after school care session. So I'm going to hit after school care. It's going to be up in my cart now. If that is the only session that I want, just the one-off on the 20th, then I can go to my cart and I can finalize. But potentially I want after school care for 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to select that next date there. Again, having a look at my sessions, I'm going to book after school care again for the date that I've selected. And then I can see I've got 2 sessions in my cart. So once I'm happy, once I've selected all the casual bookings that I require, and again, they can project forward into April if they would like to. So just moving forward, and they can put casual booking requests in for April dates if they require as well. Otherwise, I'm coming to my cart. I'm going to be provided with a summary. So I'm requesting a space for Wednesday, the 27th of March for after school care, and also Wednesday, the 20th of March for after school care. It's going to let me know that full session fee. Now, if I am CCS eligible, then obviously I will be paying a percentage of that being my gap fee. Otherwise, I'm going to hit request. And it's going to let me know that those bookings have been confirmed. So I now have 2 bookings for Wyatt at Little Sprouts OSH. Here are my sessions that I've added. Here is the fee for those. When I get out of here and I come back over to my bookings calendar, I can now see I've got an orange dot above both of those dates. And if I do select on it, I can see that those sessions have been added for those particular days instantly. So I'm added to the master role in Office. I'm also, as a parent, I can see that in my booking screen. So really, really easy for families to be able to action quite quickly. Book in for a space, make sure that they've secured sessions that they require without having to necessarily email, phone you, send a request through, wait for you to action it, wait to get that alert to say that you've approved it. We're hoping that this feature is going to save you time. We did launch it at the end of last year, and our ongoing research and collaboration with services has shown us that this has been really impactful in saving administrators quite a bit of time in their day by not having to action individual notifications. So let me just give you a summary of what we've gone over, and then we will jump into the Q&A section. So what did we go over? We've gone through service app settings to enable instant mobile bookings features. We've configured our booking rules. So particularly in these booking rules, we've looked at the age of the child, the fee, and the session. And then finally, we've looked at the room rules as well. So what did we particularly look at in there? We've looked at the capacity management, how to customize this, how to embed cut-off times as well for those bookings. So some really valuable tools that we've gone over. And now if you do have a question, please jump in the Q&A, jump off mute. Mafara, if there's anything that you've seen, please jump in and let me know.
Yeah, Tash, there's a couple of that have just come in sort of in the last couple of minutes. So I'll just start from the bottom. Shirna has asked if we can close before school and after school care rooms by reverting sessions to 0 without removing bookings during vacation care so that they don't go through CCS.
Okay, so in terms of your, I'll speak to the full flow of this. In terms of your bookings for new children, when you go into master role and you're inputting their booking pattern, you're going to project out until the end of the year. Now in the rooms, yes, you can set it as a 0 capacity, but as an administrator, when you're in master role, you can override that and you can book in children into any room at your leisure. So that 0 capacity is not going to stop you from creating bookings in master role for vacation care periods for before and after school care. It does stop families, however, booking casually through their app. So our recommendation is, as I said, putting in your before school care and after school care sessions into your master role. When vacation care comes around, you'll have those dates in mind, maybe 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, come into master role, tick all of your children, come up to delete, pop your vacation care dates in. So for this one, it's going to be the 1st of April and it runs for 2 weeks. So we're going to go through until the 14th. Leave Monday to Friday in here because we want to delete all of those sessions on all of those days. Now, if you do have any sessions, it will be listed how many sessions you have. From there, you're going to hit preview and then delete, and it will delete in bulk all of those sessions, meaning that your vacation care is completely open. With this feature that we've just gone through being instant mobile bookings, our intention is probably more towards vacation care. So you might clear your master role vacation care periods so that no one has any sessions booked. You might then use Comm Centre out to your families, letting them know, hey, this is our vacation care program. Also, we've opened up bookings through the home app and families can go in and book instantly there and secure the dates that they require. That's going to mitigate administrators needing to manually update anything or send out a paper copy and then, manually input what you receive back on paper. It also means that it's the first families that jump in will secure those sessions. So if you've got limited spaces, just let them know. You might even give them a week's notice and open bookings at the end of the week to make it fair for those who maybe can't check their emails instantly throughout the day. I hope that answers it though.
Thanks, Tash. I will also just say, if anyone does want to ask a question sort of, with their voice and not have to type it out, please do just raise your hand and we'll unmute you from our end. We do have another question here from Ali. If sessions are selected as inactive, will the parents still see these?
So when you're saying sessions are inactive, I'm assuming you're referring to the fee because the session and the fee, they're one. So if your fee is archived, then they will not see that fee and that session won't be available. Keep in mind, if you do archive a fee that's attached to a booking rule, you will run an error. It'll let you know that it is currently attached and live. So you will need to inactivate that booking rule and then create a new booking rule with that new fee and session attached. But once they're archived, families will not be able to utilize that anymore.
Thanks, Tash. And then, Ali, I can see your other questions there about changing the button from request to book, and also like parents being confused when they've requested a booking and they're expecting something back. I will just mention that our product team are sort of lingering in the background of this meeting, so they are seeing all these comments and they're taking this feedback on board. So we'll be absolutely sure to share that with them at the end. There is a question here, Tash, from Claire at Kids Zone. When we have the room capacity for before school and after school care set to 0 during holiday periods, why do recurrent bookings book for the full year?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, your capacity management is for families using the home app. So it refers to your casual booking process. It does not refer to your administrators. Administrators can overbook classrooms at any stage if they are required to. Again, you need to meet your legislation, but your occupancy might change or your capacity for your service might change, and you are able to book children into particular rooms and not be restricted in our office system. So please keep that in mind. Capacity management is for families using the home app for instant mobile bookings. It does not refer to administrators and master role.
Thanks, Tash. There's one through the Q&A, which I think would be good for you to maybe demonstrate and show everyone. But a question from Tammy. In the case of an internet failure, is it possible to print paper copies of bookings for the week?
Absolutely. So we're assuming that the bookings have been made. Unfortunately, you are not going to have access to your notification bell for booking requests. So we're looking at actual bookings. But to do that, we're going to move over into our reports, attendance reports. and it's just your roll book here. So if you're wanting to provide through to your educators who you're expecting child-wise for each room, you're going to download your roll book. If you are requiring, or you know that your internet's going to be down ahead of time, or you know something's going on and you require families to sign in manually, then you can actually print the attendance sheets. So in here, now again, just segmenting, you can print these for all rooms, you can print for individual rooms, you can print for an individual child or all children based on the rooms that you've selected. Pop your date range in. So if you're only needing this for 1 day, print for 1 day. If you think you're going to need it for a week, you can print it for a week. Completely up to you. But for your educators or internal, roll book. For your families, if you need them to manually be signing in, attendance summary. Keep in mind as well, though, you may not need to utilise attendance summary. If you know your internet is going to be down, on your hub, take a screenshot of the QR code, print that, and that is valid for 24 hours as well. So your families can still use their home app, scan that QR code for 24 hours, and be able to sign their children in and out still.
Thanks, Tash. I can see some more kind of feature requests coming in. I think there's a good opportunity to let everyone in the meeting know, bit of an OSH Week exclusive. You may have seen a banner in Office in the last couple of days looking for beta testers, and then that has been closed, but the product team have opened it up specifically to anyone in this meeting today to participate in the beta testing that they're doing, particularly looking at booking request processes and enhancing those processes. And so definitely they want your feedback. We are working on this feature actively, to come out later in the year. So I will pop the link in the chat now. If you do want to sign up, definitely feel free to do so. Just checking the Q&A again, sorry. Okay, Tash, this might be one for you. So a question from Aaron. We have ACCS children that have a 10-hour day, but must stay for 11 hours. How could we get around this? In the Q&A as well, open to anyone else in the webinar to jump in and answer any questions if you have any questions. We are a community after all, so no wrong answers and no silly questions.
1000%, as you said, Mavaro. All right, Aaron, this one is a very particular user experience. I would always refer you to have a chat to the CCS help desk around particular families. They're going to give you the most current and accurate information that will be for this particular user. However, if we're talking about our software, if a child is booked in for a 10-hour session and they obviously stay for 11 hours, when you submit their attendances, so when we submit those on Friday night based on the week that they've attended, we're going to send through the actuals. So they were booked in for a 10-hour session, they stayed for 11 hours, that's what's going to be sent. The black and white of it is if they only have 100 hours per fortnight and they're exceeding that, they are going to have an additional gap fee that is not covered by ACCS, and there is no way around it. It is a really strong rule of 100 hours. But I guess having a chat to CCS help desk around how can you best facilitate for this family, speaking to their caseworker to see if their department can cover the gap if it's absolutely mandatory that this child has to attend for 11 hours. There are options, but from a software standpoint, it's just the actual sign in and out times that we submit, and there's nothing you can do outside of that. So have a chat to those department people and they'll be able to help you, I'm sure.
Thanks, Tash. And there's another one here from Aaron, sort of talking about the possibilities to exclude certain families from utilizing mobile bookings. He's given an example use case here where a family might have an outstanding debt and they want to discuss it with them before allowing them to continue booking.
100%. This isn't the first time that we've been asked about this, and that example is the one that frequently comes up. From a software standpoint, we have not created that feature, and my understanding is we are not looking to create that feature. There is a very fine line between being able to manage payments and obviously debt collection and exclusion, and we don't want to be excluding families and the example that you've used, completely valid and definitely aligns with many centre or service policies and procedures. If you're not paid up to date, you obviously can't be accepted for casual bookings. But how do we create that in the software that, it's restricted by billing? It's not really possible right now, but incredible feedback. Again, our product team is in here. They're listening. They're hearing your user experience. They'll have discussions. If it's something we can facilitate, they'll talk about it. But for now, it's not possible.
Thanks, Tash. Tammy, I see your comment there. Just give me one moment and I'll get an answer for you. If anyone else does have a question, here's one that's come in. I have been given mixed messages regarding signing out by Xplor. We've been told that parents don't sign out the kids, it affects the CCS, but we often sign the kids out as parents won't work with their phones. Michelle's understanding of CCS knowledge was that it's only the child's last day that affects it. Can you clarify?
Okay, so again, this is a very particular CCS question, which is outside of our software, but I feel qualified to answer coming from I have centre manager experience for 5+ years. So again, I've read the regulations and legislation like you have. The answer is really simple. Children are required to be signed in and out, so they absolutely have to have a sign in and out time. Legally, that can be through a parent, guardian, or emergency contact, or an educator at the centre. So it doesn't matter if it's the parent, guardian, or emergency contact, or the educator. Again, that is your internal policy and procedure around how you action that or how that looks at your service. If children do not have a sign in or out time, it doesn't necessarily affect their CCS payment. It could, but it may not. Definitely for their first and last day, it absolutely will. But during the span of their time at your service, it might not necessarily affect it. Reasons why it might affect it is if the child is booked in for a 12-hour session 2 days in a row, and they don't sign in, but then the parent signs out, but then they sign out the next day but don't sign in, and it looks like they've attended the centre for almost 24 hours. That could be a huge issue. So there's a lot of factors to it. Best practice is sign children in and out, whether that's an educator, parent, guardian, or emergency contact, and you'll be completely compliant and you will have no CCS issues. I'm scrolling through the chat as well. But again, if anyone wants to ask a question live, please jump in. We are so friendly. We are so happy to talk to you. We would love to hear a different voice. So come off mute, put your hand up.
Just some of the comments there. Yeah, Shona, you're right. Parents can sign out with their mobile number and PIN on the hub if they don't have their phone with them when they come into the centre. Absolutely. And then yes, an error where the before and after school care times, sign in and out time overlap. Yes. Double checking the Q&A as well. Make sure I haven't missed anything in there. Nothing at this stage, Tash.
Perfect. I don't know if Mafari mentioned at the beginning of this session or you're going to bring it up at the end, but all of these sessions are being recorded and they are going to be housed and launched next week for everyone to refer back to. They're incredible resources. So if you did miss yesterday's session, you'll be able to catch up. But if you do have...
Tash, just super quickly, we do have a hand up here from Carmel. Carmel, I'm just going to unmute you now. You can unmute when you're ready.
Hi, Carmel.
Hi, sorry guys, I didn't realise I also had to unmute. Sorry about that. I know the team's looking at waiting list, which is really fantastic because that's a huge issue as well, and it'd be nice to have an ordered wait list. I was just wondering when they're looking at that, if it would be possible to be able to only have the service to select the number of waiting lists for that day instead of having, everyone that wants to be on that waiting list of 30 or 40 people waiting for a vacation care spot, limiting it to the first 10 that get in there to be on that waiting list and the others just get automatically rejected. Just saving time again and letting parents know that they haven't got a chance if they're number 30, but they might have a chance if they're number 4 straight away, so that both the parents and the service sort of aren't hanging out waiting for this space that they may not get to. That's all.
That is an incredible question. Thank you so much for jumping in and presenting that live. We don't have any insights on that. Mufara and I can quite confidently say it's not in our realm to be able to action that, but people who will be able to have those discussions are in this meeting today. They've heard what you said, and hopefully they'll be able to take that away and have a chat about user experience and what that might look like in terms of product development and features later on down the track. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I'll just double down on that, Carmel. Like I mentioned, the product team are looking into this, and we'll take that feedback on board. If anyone did join the roadmap session yesterday with Priya, she did mention that there are some waitlist functionalities being looked at this year. So keep your eyes and ears out for that, and we'll have more information later down the line. I'll also give one quick plug to our Canny board. As Priya did mention yesterday, there are a lot of good feature requests coming through today, so absolutely submit them on Canny as well. I'll post a couple of links shortly, but absolutely submit them on Canny so that the product and engineering teams can review these. They review that Canny board sort of on the daily, so definitely get your feature requests in. Tash, there is another question that's just come through the Q&A. Are parents currently sign in and out using iPads at the centre? Can they continue to do this with Xplor, or do they have to use their phone? So this is from Tammy, who is going live with Xplor on April 1st.
Oh, congratulations, Tammy. That's so exciting. We facilitate the ability for parents to sign in both ways or sign out both ways. So if I just open the hub up for you, that's what we've been talking about. So this is our hub. So when families come in to drop their child off or when they come in to collect their child from the service, they've got two options. They can use this QR code through Home app, and they can sign their child in or out. So just by scanning with their phone in Home app, they'll be able to sign in and out instantly. Alternately, if they haven't brought their phone in or they didn't download Home app or they don't want to do that, completely okay. They'll just press sign in and out here, and they'll be prompted to put in one of two configurations. By default, it's a phone number and PIN. So generally mobile number and the PIN that they've set up when they action their welcome email. If they forgot their PIN or they don't know what mobile number it's connected to or whatever's happened, they press on forget PIN, use password, and then they can put in their email address and password instead. So they've got a couple of options for sign in or out. Definitely using the Home app is going to be the fastest. It's instant, scan, toggle, in, out, done. But they can use your hub as well. And they all feed into Playground if you're utilizing Playground app. They also feed into Office, so everything speaks to one another. Really great question, though. Thank you so much for asking, and congratulations for going live. A couple of weeks left to go until you're with us, which is exciting.
Yep, and Michelle said in the comments there, if they remember it, yep, the age-old problem of parents not remembering their PINs or their phone numbers.
It really is. But if you didn't notice on here, they can actually action that themselves. So if they don't remember it, sign in, I forgot my PIN. they can reset their PIN. It does send them an email. They do need to have their phone on them. The email is valid for 2 hours, but they can reset their PIN. Alternately, if they've forgotten their password, they can also send themselves a password reset. Again, goes to their email, so they'll have to have their mobile, and it is valid for 2 hours. So hopefully this mitigates the emails that you're probably getting around, oh, I forgot my PIN, I don't know what my password is, can you send me a reset? And then they don't action it within the 2 hours. Get them to do for themselves. They can do it at a time that's going to best suit them. And then you can utilize that time to be doing the million other things in your service that you need to be doing.
Thanks, Tash. We do have 4 minutes to go, so I think we'll probably start wrapping this up shortly. Just a quick note from me. I have shared a couple of links in the comments just now. I'll pin them to the top. So what you have there first is the canny board that I mentioned previously, but also we have some support and training resources available to you. So that particular link tree there will give you links to a range of things that are available to you, from support guides to learning pathway videos, to registrations to our webinars with the training team, and also booking a session with the training team if you wish to, but also some Pinterest ideas and opportunities for you to join our Facebook communities online, where you can interact with other admins in there. Sorry, I can quickly see a hand raised. So before we do wrap up, I'll just hand it over to you, Michelle. You can unmute when you're ready.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
You sure can.
Okay, great. Sorry, just circling back to what you were saying. We're a very small service, open a very select number of sessions during the week, like 3 afternoons a week. Mm-hmm. Is there any way in which we can extend the amount of time in which that link is valid for? So, for example, our families are not great at signing out, which is fine. We often sign them out. We're trying to get to a more proactive where they take it on, often picking up, going home. It's such a busy time. We may not see the kid again then for another week, as many services do, but because we're only open a couple of afternoons a week, mm-hmm. that 2 hour window goes quite quickly, which then leaves us to manually resend it to them the next time they come in, or at a time that they kind of can do it. Is there any way that that can be modified by us or by you or anything like that? Because it really is such a short time frame, especially at not a great time of night for a lot of families.
Completely understand where you're coming from. From my perspective, there's nothing I can do, but definitely the people who can have those discussions are in this meeting, are listening, and obviously can take this offline. So thank you for coming through, coming off mute, asking that, because again, we can take that away. We can have discussions around user cases, and we can see what's going to be best for our customers moving forward. So no answer currently, but watch this space. We'll let you know if there's any updates in the future. Easy. All right. Well, before I pass over to Mafaro, I'm just going to plug our next session. If you have time today, if you have not booked in for this session, Candy is running a programming and planning session at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So this afternoon, really, really soon. It's going to be an incredible session. If you aren't utilizing Playground currently, but you'd like to know how that product could assist with your programming and planning, jump into the session, take a look, have discussions around, is this going to work at your service? And if so, reach out to us. We'd like to further discuss that with you. And then now I'll pass over to Mafaro. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tash. Absolutely. I'll just reiterate what Tash said there. Do sign up for our next session. The link is now in the chat. And we hope to see you on. We're bang on 12, so I'll let everyone get out of here and get their lunch, or if you're in WA and you're just waking up, good morning, and we'll see everyone at the next session. Thanks, guys.